Thank you, Lindsay. Good morning. My name is Peeb and Me, And welcome to our Sunday service at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Long Beach. We are a thriving, multicultural, Unitarian Universalist church of people of all ages who are seen, heard, and cherished. We lead with courage and humility as we transform ourselves and our world. We are rooted in love, welcome people of many paths, and act together for justice, equity, and inclusion. We welcome everyone to join in this vision as we live into our mission to nurture community, confront injustice, and center love. Welcome to those of you who are new or visiting our church this morning. We are so glad you're here. Please stop by the membership table after the service to fill out a newcomer form or scan the Welcome Visitors QR code on the order of service so we can follow up with you. And of course, welcome also to those who are joining in on Zoom and YouTube. Our services are available online anytime. Our children and youth are starting their Camp UUCLB summer fun times with a movie day today in the lounge. Our nursery in rooms 2-3 is open for infants and toddlers. Please be sure to sign in your children and sign them out before and after services. And now let's take a moment to greet one another respectfully and warmly. Okay, if we could start taking our seats. Let's talk about some announcements.
Good morning. Hello. My name is Max Scott Barron. My pronouns are he, him.
And my name is Ken Scott Barron. Pronouns he, him. Go England! Meanwhile, the Democracy Forward team invites you to a postcard party. Yay! After the service today in the Chalice Building. It's just over in that direction. And come and join us.
We're launching our annual Reclaim Our Vote campaign, reaching out particularly to Black voters in voter-suppressed rural areas like the South, like in the rural Duplin County, North Carolina.
In the landmark case, I'm sure you've heard of it, of Louisiana versus Calais, the Supreme Court The Supreme Court ruled that Louisiana's congressional map, which included a second majority black district, was an unconstitutional racial gerrymander.
This weakened Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act by imposing stricter evidentiary standards for vote dilution. ISO, tell us.
In response, we're writing to black voters in Mecklenburg Congressional District number 1 and Congressional District number 3. And that's in the rural black belt to urge in-person early voting.
The card's message is respectful of the voters, and the stickers we attach include sources for updated information voters may need to navigate the complex voting system in their area.
And now for the fun. We'll have refreshing beverages, I'm told, light refreshments, and door prizes today. Wow. Join us in a happy celebration of freedom. Thank you.
And now let us begin our time of worship with chalice lighting number 444 in our Singing the Living Tradition hymnal entitled This House by the Reverend Kenneth Patton. This house is for the ingathering of nature and human nature. It is a house of friendships, a haven in trouble, an open room for the encouragement of our struggle. It is a house of freedom, guarding the dignity and worth of every person. It offers a platform for the free voice for declaring, both in time of security and danger, the full and undivided conflict of opinion. It is a house of truth-seeking, where scientists can encourage devotion to their quest, where mystics can abide in a community of searchers. It is a house of art, adorning its celebrations with melodies and handiworks. It is a house of prophecy, outrunning times past and times present in visions of growth and progress. This house is a cradle for our dreams, the workshop of our common endeavor. As we light this chalice, come, let us worship together.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's sing. Let's rise in body or in spirit and sing hymn number 108, My Life Flows On, in endless song.
New All right, let's try it. Better? No.
I muted it. This one power went down. That's all.
Okay.
Now you go.
All right. Yay! Okay. Well, I'm just really grateful to lay eyes on all of you this morning. Doesn't it feel good to come into community today? Maybe you're coming and you're feeling a little tempest-tossed by yesterday, wherever the day took you, whether it was with family or in our house, we heard those fireworks until, 4 a.m. And I feel like I was like living vicariously through my dog, just cowering and terrified and like hiding in the bathroom. Maybe you felt a little like that too. Someone told me this morning they didn't leave the house yesterday. They just were holding tight. And maybe you've been holding tight. So I'm going to invite everyone to kind of come into your bodies again, because we need to re-regulate ourselves and reattune and kind of come back to ourselves, our values, to get grounded. And let's go back to that fireworks for a second, because these are warlike sounds that our bodies don't know the difference between the celebration and the sound that is truly terrifying. And that vibration gets into our systems, our nervous systems. And so coming back here, we can start to re-regulate, start to breathe together, start to come back to truly see each other again. So let's find our feet on the ground this morning. This ground of being that we share here, this holy ground, our sacred campus, this room, this body. These are the holy grounds which we can truly find ourselves deeply rooted and connected. So however it is that you feel your body kind of root down and start to feel your breath as an anchor, we have this perfect tool that is our breath that is always available to us. In any circumstance, our breath is our best partner and spiritual tool in that grounding. So let's allow our bodies to find the rhythm of our breath that we need this morning. And however you find yourself connecting to your body, I invite you to do that. Maybe it's like placing your hand on your heart or your belly. Maybe it's finding a place. We just have some beautiful new artwork to rest your gaze in a place of beauty. Maybe it's holding the hand of your partner who you're sitting next to and finding that human connection. Or catching the gaze of someone that's new here that you connect and you're so happy to be in this place together. So Lindsay's going to kind of lead us musically into just some few quiet moments of deepening your breath, fully arriving here together. And I'm going to invite you to add in one more way that you can connect deeper with your body, whether that's a big sigh, maybe you want to make some noise, just sigh it out. Maybe it's a stretch that your body needs to just reach up and bring it in. Maybe it's closing your eyes and surrendering a little bit. It can be hard to be vulnerable by closing your eyes, and maybe just try closing your eyes and seeing if that brings you a little bit deeper this morning. And as the music soothes us like ocean waves just washing over us, I invite you to look into your own heart this morning and see if there is something that you need or want to bring into community. Something that you've been carrying that you'd like to share, whether that is something that is just buoyant and joyful in your heart that is spilling out and you want to share it, or something that is weighing heavy. And so I'm going to ask us to move into our time of open sharing, of a brief offering of joys and sorrows. And if you are grooving with this grounding, I invite you to stay in that place and to experience the sharing as a part of the meditation. That every offering that people bring to us is an opportunity to expand our heart, to breathe into the joy and compassion, the grief and the gratitude that is here and present. And so if something is on your heart and so moving you to come into community, I invite you to come forward or to raise your hand, and I'm happy to bring the mic to you as well. Welcome into this time of offering joys and sorrows.
Hi, I'm Alexei Glick. My pronouns are they, them. The joy that I wanted to share is that I have started a new business venture with my partners Lindsay Coda and Lich Mogan. And we had our first vending opportunity last week, and it went really, really well. People were very excited about our concept. We are a brand new thrift store for fabric and crafts. So if you have craft materials, fabric, yarn, whatever that you're not using anymore, feel free to talk to one of us. We're happy to take in donations because our goal is to keep them out of landfills. So thank you.
Thought about all the fireworks going off last night. We're on the 4th floor, so we can go up on the 5th floor. Last night, Long Beach had 3 going. You folks know that? We could go here, here, here. But then I began to realize my neighbors around the world, a lot of people don't go to the 4th floor or 5th floor, they go to the basement. How many times? And I get to freedom. I'm going to the 5th floor. And I don't want to take that for granted today, because so many people are in the basement. That's sad. You know? So I'm sad for them, Reverend.
Hey, Michael Kimmett, he, his. I'm finally have the opportunity to share that Gwyneth and I are going to move to the Caribbean island of St. Croix. We have found a place to live. I wasn't able to talk about it now because her litigious ex might have been able to find a way to mess it up, but he did not. We succeeded in getting that past him. And so it's a lovely place. We have a spare bedroom. You're all invited to visit, not at the same time. But it is very soon. We are actually moving out this coming week. Yes, we had to wait until the house closed in order to talk about everything. So it is a great happiness. I will be remaining in touch. I will be doing all this stuff. I cannot tell you how profoundly grateful I am to this community, which took me back in over the last 2 years as I have been absolutely going through it, and has accompanied me through the rebuilding of my life and the creation of new joy. So thank you for welcoming Gwyneth, and I'll be seeing everybody around, just not the same way. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Karen Graham, and we're very sad. My son's dog died on the 4th, and he had him for 14 or 15 years. He was a rescue dog. And when we went to the vet, my son really was hoping there was some way to save him. And we were talking to the vet about that, and he passed out then, so we didn't have to go through the euthanasia.
There's an animal lover who deeply understands that pain and loss and compassion.
I'm Gloria Roth. My 2 cats, for the first time, they hid behind the couch, and I don't let them sleep with me at night, but I had them come in, and I don't sleep well, but they were more comforted. I have something to share today. That question about sharing it, but you are my home and my community here, and I'm hoping that I can get and feel some support from you here. I'm sure I can. I moved into a new home, a condo, almost a year ago in a lovely area in the Bluffs, and I love it around there, and I love my little condo. There's 24 people there, and I don't understand it, but I have been experiencing a lot of bullying and hatefulness and cruelty to me, and I just appreciate your prayers to be able to walk through this and find a different way to deal, and to be able, I don't know what, it really hurts, and didn't do anything that I'm aware of to bring this on, but it's very, very uncomfortable and painful. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Crystal Lopez Peters. It's my first time speaking, so hello everyone. And I just wanted to share a joy. Last weekend, I was able to go to Alexandria, Virginia, to go to the National Now Conference, the National Organization for Women. And I'm very heavily involved with that organization. But it was really invigorating. Nancy Pelosi came and spoke with us. She was awesome. And I just wanted to share that there are patches of resistance going on all across the country. Every state is facing different issues, reproductive rights being one of the big ones. And we've been working hard to get the ERA, the Equal Rights Amendment, passed. Or it's passed, it has enough votes, but there's a date in the preamble that said it needed to pass in 1982. So we've been working hard to try to remove that date from the preamble. And if we have the blue wave that we're hoping to have in the midterms, we've been lobbying Congress to sign on and co-sponsor a joint resolution to remove that date so we can finally get the 28th Amendment published in the Constitution, and women will finally be recognized in the US Constitution. So I just wanted to share that.
Hi, I'm Lorraine Neal, and I wanted to tell you about a very happy experience yesterday. We ended up at 2 different 4th of July things, and the second one was maybe a little uncomfortable. But the happy one, it's friends who have kind of become distant family to us, And people were saying how happy they were that they knew little pockets of progressives who cared about what's happening in the country, and they didn't want to celebrate that kind of thing. And I said, well, I'm so fortunate because I know that every week I'm around about 200 people who feel the way I do. And so the young lady asked, well, what church is that? And she said, I don't know anything about it. And we had a moment to share something about it.
Evangelism.
Hello, my name is Chris Camp, and I'm coming to you from Pastoral Care today. And because of the short time that we've had to communicate with y'all, and not too many methods of communications with you, I just wanted to make sure that, and it was mentioned back in the back of your order of service, that this Friday, July 10th, there's a circle of remembrance for Jerry Gaynor, those of you that knew Jerry, and would like to participate in that circle of remembrance. I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Thank you. And my name is Irene Conforti, and I just wanted to share that someone who was a visitor last week, who actually read with Ken last week, her mom passed away. Her name was Linda. She's a fellow UU from Utah, and she's going to be having a service in remembrance of her mother on August the 30th in Westminster. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Anyone else feel moved to share? I'm going to just ask our tech booth if there's any online. I don't have my Zoom today. Okay. Well, while we're doing that, I'm just going to invite you to bring it back in. After we did that little bit of meditation, did you feel any kind of shifting happening in your body? Maybe a little? I know there was a lot of jostling yesterday, so I'm going to invite you to bring that practice back in this moment, and I'm going to invite you to take it home. We need a lot of grounding these days. And this space can be a place where we practice and just remind ourselves of what we need. And so I'm going to invite you back into that practice of breath for just a few more moments to reground and to check in again with what joys and sorrows are on your heart today. Because we know that a lot is not spoken, and we carry a lot. So I'm going to invite you to just look within and kind of honor what you are carrying this morning. All the grief, all the gratitude, all of your experiences yesterday and today, and what you're bringing in this morning. Just to kind of return, and we're going to come back to our breath for a few quiet moments with Lindsay, and then in just a minute move into our offering. Coming back into this space of community, We're going to do some singing, and we've got David James with us from the Wilder Spirits Music and Arts program, and he's going to lead us, and these are some good sing-alongs, if you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to do not necessarily the verses in the order you're used to. So.
No, yeah.
So,
we're gonna follow you.
Okay.
But first, I'm gonna just announce the offering because we don't want to forget that part.
Oh yeah.
So this congregation is here in times of joy and sorrow. We are out there and we are within changing lives, changing our world one day at a time. So please do offer your generous gifts this morning to serve our congregation. You see the QR, or if you are a text-to-giver, there's the number. Also, check out your new order of service. What do you think? It's pretty, it's functioning, right? It's kind of handy. So you'll see a QR on there for your giving as well. And please do be as generous as you can in support of this congregation. Our offering will now be received, and take it away, David.
As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. I've roamed and rambled and followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. And all around me, the voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. When the sun comes shining and I was strolling with the wheat fields waving and the dust clouds rolling, as the fog was lifting, the voice was chanting. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. One Sunday morning, in the shadow of the steeple, by the relief office, I saw my people as they stood there hungry. I stood there asking if this land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Nobody living can ever stop me as I go walking my freedom highway. Nobody living can ever make me turn back. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Do that again. This land is your land. My land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
So we have two readings this morning. One, we're going to read Declaration of Independence, and then we're going to read the Declaration of Interdependence, which is a poem from the book How to Love a Country by Richard Blanco. In Congress, July 4th, 1776. Yeah, that's right. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted amongst men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter it or abolish it and institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer where evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. And for the support of this declaration, with firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. For a prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Declaration of Interdependence. Such has been the patient sufferance.
We're a mother's bread, instant potatoes, milk at a checkout line. We're her 3 children pleading for bubble gum and their father. We're the 3 minutes she steals to page through a tabloid, needing to believe in even stars' lives are as joyful and bruised.
Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injuries.
We're her second job, serving an executive absorbed in his Wall Street Journal at a sidewalk cafe shadowed by skyscrapers. We're the shadows of the fortune he won and the family he lost. We're his loss and the lost. We're a father in a coal town who can't mine a life anymore because too much and too little has happened for too long.
A history of repeated injuries and usurpations.
We're the grit of his main street's blacked out windows and graffitied truths. We're a street in another town lined with royal palms, at home with a Peace Corps couple who collect African art. We're their dinner party, talk of wines, wielded picket signs, and burned draft cards. We're what they know. It's time to do more than read the New York Times, buy fair trade coffee and organic corn.
In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress.
We're the farmer who grew the corn, who plows into his couch as worn as his back by the end of the day. We're his TV set, glaring news having everything and nothing to do with the field dust in his eyes or his son nested in the ache of his arms. We're his son. We're a black teenager who drove too fast or too slow, talked too much or too little, moved too quickly but not quick enough. We're the blast of the bullet leaving the gun. We're the guilt and the grief of the cop who wished he hadn't shot.
We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
We're the dead, we're the living amid the flicker of vigil candlelight. We're in a dim cell with an inmate reading Dostoevsky. We're his crime, his sentence, his amends. We're the mending of ourselves and others. We're a Buddhist serving soup at a shelter alongside a stockbroker. We're each other's shelter and hope, a widow's 50 cents in a collection plate, and a golfer's $10,000 pledge for a cure.
We hold these truths to be self-evident.
We're the cure for hatred caused by despair. We're the good morning of a bus driver who remembers our name, the tattooed man who gives up his seat on the subway. We're every door held open with a smile when we look into each other's eyes, the way we behold the moon. We're the moon. We're the promise of one people, one breath declaring one another, I see you, I need you, I am you.
We're the promise of one people, one breath declaring to one another, I see you, I need you, I am you. Well, I'm impressed that you all made it this morning. Truly. And I think just being here together this morning, I hope, has just already been positive for you in one way or another, just being here together. Because you can exhale a little bit that we have passed through one particular storm of July 4th on the 250th birthday of the United States. We have passed through that storm. So we can exhale just a little bit, knowing how much we need one another on this Interdependence Day weekend. And I want to point out two images that stood out from yesterday. Maybe you have seen them going around on the internet. One was a young black woman sitting in a car full of fully masked members of the white supremacist group Patriot Front on the DC Metro. More than 400 followers of the Patriot Front descended on the Capitol to march, promoting their anti-immigrant hate. So that is one image of that one young woman unmasked in this sea of masked white supremacists. She just wants to get where she's going, and fast. And then two, according to MSN, shortly before 7:30 p.m., the Freedom 250 organizers who were directing all activities on the National Mall, including the fireworks and the fair and all of those activities, this was the nonprofit established by President Trump. They evacuated the National Mall completely due to extreme weather. So leaving people no place to go, and the place they directed thousands of Trump supporters, who we can imagine they were mostly white, was the African American History Museum. Which happens to be right next door to the National Mall. Has anyone been to the, okay, we have a few. Powerful, powerful. And you know that once you come into the lobby, it's very disorienting because the building is built down. It's not built up. So you actually go down into the levels of history, down into what feels like the experience of being on a ship. So they were flooding the lobby of the African American History Museum, and they also got left out in the rain. So there was not enough room. So the rains continued. What do we make of this? I think about it, some people said like it's an act of God. And I think it's kind of an act of Mother Nature. Because here we are, like it's extremes, a climate extreme, right? Because, if you've been watching all of the unfolding of the festivities, activities of the weekend, they've all been affected by extreme weather, right? Heat, thunderstorms, just record temperatures. So it's like Mother Nature reckoning with these political extremes and climate extremes and just weeping. Tears of healing and grief, longing for restoration. That's my read on it. So American religion at 250. Well, first of all, when we look at 250 years of American religious history, of course we know that's not exactly the date the clock really started here, right? And it's been hard to kind of hear that clock. It's like, it's just this time, right? Charles Mann's book, 1491, New Revelations of the Americas Before Columbus, reveals the richness and diversity of indigenous cultural and religious life far before European contact. And it's estimated that between 300 and 600 distinct indigenous nations existed at that time, each with complex spiritual lives, symbols, languages, and experiences. And then, of course, Nicole Hannah-Jones had the 1619 Project, which began as a New York Times online project and then enshrined in a beautiful collection, which I highly recommend. That came out in 2019, commemorating 400 years of slavery. Hannah-Jones's powerful essay begins, "Our democracy's founding ideals were false when written. Black Americans have fought to make them true." It's estimated that 12.5 million Africans were forced into the horrors of the transatlantic slave trade, originating from 20 modern African countries on the west, central, and southeastern coasts of Africa. And the enslaved people brought with them their own religious practices that did not simply disappear. Yoruba practices of Orisha worship, rituals, and religious life alongside Muslim practices. These are just two snapshots of history beginning far before 250 years, and certainly not being founded as the Christian nation that we hear oft repeated at this time. The religious diversity of our nation is a complex, nuanced story which we are still writing every single day. And you and I are writing it here together, both in this congregation, the practices, the traditions, the community that we build, and on your own. Because many of us know, and that's why I brought in that spiritual practice this morning, that we have practices that we practice together and practices that you are doing on your own. Maybe you're doing yoga. Maybe you have a practice of reading sacred texts. Maybe you are a part of many different communities. We are all creating this religious tapestry of American life today. And we can take pride in how religious diversity has been shaped by ideals of religious freedom enshrined in the Constitution, whose promise and then inaction through important civil rights legislation that was mentioned today, the Voting Rights Act and the Immigration Act of 1965, those two landmark civil rights legislation together created the pathway for religious freedom to exponentially multiply here in the country. So too, with that pride in religious diversity, must we reckon with the intersecting histories of Christian supremacy and subjugation embedded in those histories of the transatlantic slave trade, and of course, European settler colonialism. And here in this house of worship, this house of faith, this house that continues on in traditions that are deeply rooted, we don't have to kind of look outside of our house for a little bit of reckoning and reflection. After all, our congregation in Plymouth, Massachusetts was founded by none other than that Pilgrim sect who divested from the English church in 1606 as separatists who went seeking religious freedom on these shores and resettled and founded what was formerly called Plymouth Plantation in 1620. As was the case with many of our early Unitarian congregations like King's Chapel, and I have a dream that someday we'll do a little tour of Boston and Massachusetts kind of heritage sites, because kind of seeing these places in person and also the history of the Freedom Trail and kind of the history of social justice and education and abolition all kind of woven together is very powerful. But here are these examples of the Church of England and our faith being directly connected. So King's Chapel and that Plymouth congregation both were Church of England churches that then became more liberal over time, becoming Unitarian by 1800 through the disestablishment of churches from the state of Massachusetts and the rejection of the more orthodox Trinitarian theology. Plymouth Plantation is called that no longer, by the way. It is now called Plymouth Patuxet, and it has spent years in a process of restorative justice with the native indigenous community, shifting the focus to a living museum to tell the stories of the Wampanoag and other indigenous peoples. So here in California, we have our own religious history that's important for us to think about, and perhaps that's the most well-known, embodied in the mission system. Now, I didn't grow up in California, but those of you who did, and even, how we teach about it today, that history was very much a part of how California religious history is taught. The most well-known religious history is embodied in that mission system, which exploited the labor of indigenous peoples and forced religious conversion to Catholicism. Has anyone been to a recent trip to a mission these days? A little bit. That also might be a fun field trip for us. Well, over spring break, my daughter and I took a trip to Mission San Juan Capistrano, which was established in 1776. And they happened to be also celebrating their 250th in a very different way. Now, I was nervous as we put on our little headphones and took the tour of what kind of history my daughter and I would be listening to. And we were delighted and heartened to learn that the mission has followed in the Plymouth repair by centering the story of the Ahachiman people. The mission now tells the story clearly. Mission San Juan Capistrano was established to expand the territorial boundaries of Spain and to spread Christianity to the native peoples of California. The mission now educates visitors in the traditional nature-based practices of the Ahachiman people, erased over time by the mandate to convert to Catholicism, and also by the destruction of native plant life and food sources brought about by the mission's construction. A hard and important fact to know is that at the time of the mission's beginning, 65,000 indigenous peoples lived in the coastal zones, and by 1830, only 17,000 remained. That is a decline of 74%. And that history and that grief and that loss and that erasure continues to be present to us. Because locally, we know that we have joint efforts to restore sovereignty of native land here in Long Beach, known as Pavungna, in collaboration with our Tongva neighbors, and that continues to be a part of our journey here at UUCLB. But so much more is needed. American religion at 250. 250 years, we are faced with a dire choice to repair or repeat history. Repair or repeat. For those of us who continue to believe in religion, to believe that it can be a part of healing, believe that it is a part of social justice, to believe that it is important to our lives and to our children, we are largely becoming the minority. Because younger generations of folks, they are currently becoming less interested in organized religion. I was looking at the Pew Religious Forum, that the Pew Religious Forum is perhaps the most important survey of American religious life, and they are constantly updating us with more information about trends in American religion. And the current generation of 18 to 29-year-olds, they're about 45% unaffiliated altogether. Whereas the older generation, so kind of the 65 to 85, they're only about 15% unaffiliated. So there's a big gap between the generations. And my hunch is that religious denominations and institutions have failed to kind of address the realities of our lives these days. Many people are less interested in organized religion, siloed and sequestered into denominations. It can be hard to kind of parse out one denomination from another, although I like to think that ours is very much set apart. But there's a sea of denominational life out there, and it's hard to kind of find where you fit. And many feel that denominations and institutions have failed to adequately address the political realities of our world. White supremacy and racism, homophobia and transphobia, genocide, both the original genocide of indigenous peoples and the genocides that are going on around our globe, including in Gaza. Sexual abuse, economic injustice, and even the rampant use of artificial intelligence. Can religion adequately address these questions? Likewise, generations of followers are becoming less interested in religion because it fails to address the actual real realities of spiritual life. The disconnection that people feel, the grief, the loneliness, the loss of meaning. And we can actually look and see that some of our kind of strongest denominations have been splintering and reforming also, but splintering nonetheless. A lot of Jewish institutions have been heavily impacted by the very divisive issue of Israel-Palestine, an issue that many say impacted the 2024 election. We can also look at the schism in the United Methodist Church over full LGBTQIA inclusion. That church has been absolutely, globally and locally impacted. And more people are finding that they don't need to be a part of a congregation or a denomination to feel that their lives and their needs are seen and heard. And we can look internally, too, at our own Unitarian Universalist Association. As we've had internal schisms, as we've tried and, in some ways, really shifted our paradigms around addressing white supremacy and racism. Now, from these internal schisms have sprung up new grassroots movements with a lot of aliveness, breaking down barriers to interfaith cooperation and action, cherishing deeply held beliefs and life-giving faith practices, but moving away from exceptionalism, that one group, one denomination, one church, one synagogue, one faith holds the truth. Because there is a yearning for interdependence, for this acknowledging that our thriving and our flourishing, our liberation is bound up together, and a deep spiritual yearning for connection across the divides of race, class, gender, and culture. So increasingly, I think American religion at 250 years needs to be about repair of the past and mitigating current harms, because we see a narrowing happening at the national level. About a month ago, and many of you have brought this to my attention, the Department of Defense announced that it would be narrowing the list of governmentally endorsed religions from 211, which is still frightfully small, to 31, including Unitarian Universalism. So we are no longer on the official Department of Defense list of religions. And many have been concerned about this in terms of the meaning for our denominational health. Will we continue to be recognized? The answer is yes. We do not have to be, overly concerned. What we do have a concern about is members of our armed forces and military who are practicing Unitarian Universalists, or who are questioning faith or doubting, because Unitarian Universalism has been a home for people who are of many faiths and wanting to have a practice that is more personal. So it doesn't impact credentialing or hiring of chaplains, which are handled by denominations also. So those are some of the questions. The Reverend Joanna Fontaine Crawford is a minister at Live Oak Congregation in Texas, and she was raised in a military family. She posted a picture of her father's grave with a chalice on the grave in a military cemetery. And she points out that the government, let alone the Department of Defense, has no constitutional grounds to regulate the deeply held beliefs of Americans or enshrine or endorse any official religion. Because where we're going to close is reminding ourselves what exactly the Constitution does say. Because this document carries forward, and this is the document which will enshrine the religious liberty of our generation and the generations to come. So we, the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. And here's the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. So those two clauses, the Establishment Clause, which prevents the government from establishing an official religion or favoring one faith over another, and the Free Exercise Clause, which protects your fundamental right to practice your faith as you choose, or to hold no religious belief without government interference. Diana Eck is a Harvard religious scholar and founder of the Pluralism Project. In her foundational book, A New Religious America: How a Christian Country Has Become the World's Most Religiously Diverse Nation, she rightfully argues that religious diversity will continue to develop. And 25 years ago, she wisely foretold a future where democracy would be profoundly challenged to live up to the very principles enshrined in our freedom of religion in the Constitution. And prophetically, she named the threats to, first, the Voting Rights Act, and then the Immigration Act of 1965. And that is where we should be turning our attention as the Supreme Court decisions continue to come down. And this week we had a tremendous loss, particularly for our LGBTQIA community and particularly for trans youth in sports. And so I want to name that alongside that birthright citizenship was upheld. But the threats will continue to come about this landmark legislation that links civil rights and diversity and freedom of religion together. So what I want to say is that Diana Eck, in her words, she asks, who do we mean when we invoke the first words of our Constitution? We the people. Who do we mean when we say we? This is a challenge of citizenship, to be sure, for it has to do with the imagined community of which we consider ourselves a part. But it is also a challenge of faith. For people of every religious tradition who live today with communities of faith other than our own, not only around the world, but across the street. We, the people of the United States, now form the most profusely religious nation on earth, and religious freedom has always given rise to religious diversity. This requires us to reclaim the deepest meaning of the very principles we cherish, and to create a truly pluralist society in which this great diversity is not simply tolerated, but becomes the very source of our strength. So friends, as we gather today on this Interdependence Day weekend, what will be your declaration of interdependence? Robin Wall Kimmerer is the author of Braiding Sweetgrass. And I want to close with her understanding of connection to earth and citizenship in a broader way. She says, as I grew to understand the gifts of the earth, I couldn't understand how love of country could omit recognition of the actual country itself. The only promise it requires is to a flag. What of the promises to each other and to the land? Amen and blessed be.
All right, this is one of the great Woody Guthrie's lesser known songs, but it's one we need now. He wrote this, you might notice in your order of service that this song is called All You Fascists Bound to Lose. He wrote this in 1944 at the end of World War II, when a lot of people were conscious of fascism in the Axis powers. But he wrote this kind of bringing the idea back home that it's not limited to Italy, Spain, and Germany. And in typical Guthrie fashion, it's got a very easy chorus to sing along with. The words to the chorus are, all you fascists bound to lose, all you fascists bound to lose, all you fascists bound to lose, you're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. I'm gonna tell you fascists, you may be surprised. The people in this world are getting organized. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. Yes sir, all you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. Race hatred cannot stop us. This one thing we know, your poll tax and your Jim Crow and your greed has got to go. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. People of every nation marching side by side, Marching across these fields where 1,000,000 fascists died. You're bound to lose. You're bound to lose. Ah, you fascists bound to lose. Ah, you fascists bound to lose. Ah, you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. I'm going into this battle, and I take my Union gun. We'll end this world of slavery before this battle's won. You're bound to lose. You're bound to lose. Ah, you fascists bound to lose. Ah, you fascists bound to lose. Ah, you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. We're the cure for hatred caused by despair. We're every door held open with a smile when we look into each other's eyes the way we behold the moon. We're the moon. We're the promise of one people, one breath declaring to one another, I see you. I see you. I need you. I need you. I am you. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace.
All right, we put a little something together here for you. So hopefully this will bring this beautiful service together. We invite you to sing with us, and we're so happy Malila is here with us today.
One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright.
Everybody sing.
One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love, love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love, love. Love is all you need. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. Oh, one love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. One more time now. One love, one heart. together